So I know the road to medical school can be pretty daunting when you enter as a freshman in college. So I just wanted to break down a year by year and a semester by semester timeline of what you should expect and what my suggestions are and what I did to get into medical school. So my timeline, right? So freshman year. So honestly, aim for the highest GPA you can. Honestly, try to get a 4.0. Because even if you get something lower, like a 3.9 or a 3.8, that's okay. You want to aim for the stars, so that way, even if you miss, you'll hit the moon, right? So that's your goal for the first semester. Just try to get the highest GPA you possibly can. It's okay if you get a B. It's not the end of the world. For example, I got a B both in my first semester and second semester. But by the end of college, I still had a 3.9 and I still got into med school. So getting a B is not a problem. Even getting a C. I honestly want you to try your hardest to avoid that. Because that's one of the biggest pre-med mistakes is to get a low GPA the first semester and then you'll just be doing damage control for the rest of your college career. And I don't want you to do that. Because that's pretty stressful on you. And so just try, honestly, just all about grades the first semester. However, with that being said, try to also look for clubs you like. A key part of medicine is not only just being an intelligent person and getting good grades and a good MCAT score, but also being a really well-rounded person. So look for clubs that you like. And if you're doing well after the first few exams in college, feel free to join a few clubs. It's honestly not that much of a time commitment. Just look for, and you can also go for a lot. You can join 5 different clubs and just see what each one of them is about, because college, especially the first semester, is just about exploring a bunch of different stuff and seeing a different version of yourself and seeing the different things that you could possibly like. So the second semester, once you get the hang of college, no matter how well you did in high school, obviously college is a learning curve, but after you think that you've got a handle on things and adjusted to the college lifestyle, then you can start volunteering in those clubs that you were looking at before, right? So you can start volunteering more. I would encourage you to start volunteering in a hospital, especially since you want to be a doctor, right? You want to be able to show that on your application that you really want this and that you volunteered a lot at hospitals so that you know what you're getting yourself into. And not only for an application, but you yourself, right? If you want to be a doctor so bad, then you have to actually enjoy it. And so when you go to the hospital, it should be a very enjoyable experience for you. So try to volunteer in the hospital once a week, and then by the time you apply to medical school, it'll be a ton of hours, and plus, you yourself will know if you want to be a doctor or not after all those hours volunteering. Also, try to have something fun and non-medical too. Obviously, like I said, you want to be well-rounded. You don't only want to have the singular purpose in life of just being a doctor, but you also have to have fun and just be able to show that you not only volunteer in just the hospital, but also other stuff. For example, I was in HOSA, and then we would constantly be setting up 5Ks and tutoring children and just a bunch of fun things. And especially with HOSA, we got to travel the country, actually, because for competitions, we got to go to different places like California and Florida, and so that was a blast. And at the same time, it was a pre-med organization, so you were learning at the same time. So I thought that was a great investment. And I was also part of NSA, Neuroscience Student Association, because I was a neuroscience major. I loved the weekly briefings that they had during each meeting. I was also part of UNICEF. And that was part of like the global initiative. That was cool to learn about global health and all the things happening in the world around us and how we can help out. And then also start looking for research. So the thing about research is that it is really helpful for medical school. And so typically hard sciences look better than psychology sciences, psychology research, right? So try to get into a neuroscience or biology research. But don't worry if you're going to a psychology research, because that's actually what I was in. And medical schools do like their science, hard sciences, like biology, neuroscience, physics, all that. But they still consider psychology research. So feel free to be in any type of research that you want. Any research at all looks good. And just a caveat to all of this, you have to enjoy all this stuff. I genuinely did enjoy HOSA. Like, I genuinely did enjoy research. My research was really fun. And I liked psychology research because I didn't have to deal with rats, which you typically deal with more in neuroscience research. So I liked dealing with the people. And so that's why I did psychology research. And it was a lot of fun for me. I honestly loved the experience. So I know I'm presenting this as a checklist, which is kind of what medical school want. They want to see that you have all these things that make you a well-rounded person. But there's no point in doing all this stuff if you're just doing it for the sake of doing it. If you are, then like you're going to waste 4 years of your life being miserable, and on top of that, you're like, is that the type of person you want to be? For example, if you're really dread the hospital volunteering, how do you know that you'll like it as a doctor, right? So try to enjoy this stuff, even though I'm presenting it as like a checklist that you have to complete to get into medical school. But anyways, for research, try to get into a research that you like, but hopefully it's more science geared. And then, and the way to get into research is to email the professors, go to their office hours, or the research fairs. So I think the best way, honestly, is to meet them in person. For emails, they get a lot of spam emails, so they might disregard you. But I think going and seeing them in person might really open those doors. And just start off by saying, like, doing a little bit of research on them and what type of research they do, and just saying that, hey, I was free this semester. I was thinking if I could join your research, do you have any positions available? And you could also do that in an email form and just send it to a bunch of professors. So I would highly suggest that. And also research fairs are really good because they're actively recruiting people. That's actually how I got my research. I went to a research fair and I got my research that way. So try to look for research early on because it takes a while to get published in a research paper. So you want to start early if you can, if you're doing well in school. Obviously, the first thing that matters is numbers. Medical school will not care about your extracurriculars, no matter what people tell you, unless you have the numbers to back it up. You could get into lower ranked medical schools, but honestly, if you have high numbers, then it will exponentially increase your chances of getting into medical school. And during the freshman summer, try not to take too many classes during the summers because it shows that you can't handle a tough or a heavy course load during the actual semester. And that's what they want to see in medical school. They want to see if you can handle tough course loads because medical school is a lot of information. Like the saying, it's like drinking from a fire hose. So try not to do it, but I will say that if you do think that your GPA might suffer, go ahead and take the freshman summer or classes in the summer. It's not a big deal, and one summer will not affect your chances of getting into med school. Because, for example, I knew that I would suffer in physics because the physics at our school is the physics lab, not the actual class, but the lab is incredibly time consuming. So I knew that would hurt me if I took it with a bunch of other classes. So I took it during the summer to avoid crippling my GPA. So, and I turned out fine. I never got a single question about that. Okay, so sophomore year.